Yo, I'm Troy, this is TM Fitness. We're talking about how to program kettlebell workouts. I've got a stinking head cold, so forgive me if I sound a bit weird. What'd you do? Right, so when it comes to creating meaningful and effective kettlebell workouts that are also time efficient, you need to have a plan. So what I tend to do in my workouts is I break things down into 3 portions. Before you start, you will do some specific, or at least what I do, some specific mobility and or muscle activation work. This is your prehab stuff. So if you've got past injuries, you're working on those weak areas, that may only take you, 3, 4, 5 minutes or whatever. You do whatever it is that you do for your specific mobility issues. And then we do our mobility section. So this is kind of like the warm up. This is working movement patterns. This is getting the body moving optimally under load. So this is with a kettlebell now. You're looking at lifting lighter weights, so light to moderate weight. So maybe a 12 or a 16 kilo kettlebell here, maybe a little bit lighter, maybe a little bit heavier, depending on, what your body type is, how strong you are, how well trained you are. So as I say, you work on your specific mobility and your muscle activation. So you do your prehab stuff, then you do a mobility complex. So a complex is linking up a bunch of exercises. So what you can do is just work your way through the main movement patterns, which are your squat, hinge, push, pull, rotate, anti-rotate. You can just do a little mini circuit with the kettlebell that incorporates those movement patterns. Or you can work on something a little bit more specific. So as an example, one of the mobility complexes that I like to use before a session is one hand swing. This is with a 16 kilo kettlebell, one hand swing, one hand snatch, windmill, overhead squat. Repeat that 5 times, swap hands without setting the kettlebell down, do 5 on the other side, put the kettlebell down, shake it off, repeat. So I do that 2, maybe 3 times. That is going to take you 5, maybe 10 minutes, depending on how long your little mini circuit or complex is. Once you've done that, you rest, active recover for a couple of minutes, and then move on to the main portion. So this is your strength phase. So in this, you're working movements, not muscles. So it's kettlebells. Most kettlebell exercises incorporate the full body, or at least multiple joints. They're like compound movements. So you're not doing any isolation work here. That's not to say, for all you bros, that isolations are bad. There's a time and a place for isolations, just not in a kettlebell workout. The strength phase is going to be a series of exercises that are designed to be using a heavier weight. So if you use the 16 as your light to moderate weight in the mobility routine, then you're probably looking at least a 24 in the strength phase. You might want to do 2 kettlebells. So it might be a pair of 20s, a pair of 24s. If you're really strong, a pair of 32s or heavier, who knows? As an example, one of the routines that I'm doing at the moment is a basic 5x5 push-pull routine. So after I've done my mobility, I'll do my 5x5 push-pulls. It's 5 sets, 5 reps. I do rack squats, pendlay row, or bent over row, whatever you want to call it, overhead press, and the dead stop swing. 5 reps of each. So your limiting factor in that one, if you're using the same weights for each exercise, is the overhead press, because you're limited by how much weight you can press overhead for reps, which means that your squats and your rows and your dead stop swings are going to be, you're going to be using weights that are lighter than a 5 rep max. But that's fine. It's fine to work a little bit within yourself, within the context of this routine. So I call it a 5x5. You might start with 5x3, 3 reps of everything, and then build it up, add a rep each week. You might find that you can do 5x5 on the others, and you can only do 3 reps on the overhead press, depending on how strong you are, depending on what the weight is that you're moving. And then, as I say, as you get stronger, it's harder with kettlebells to incrementally increase the weight, because the weight jumps up quite a lot from one kettlebell to the next. So increase your reps until you're doing 5x8, for example, and then maybe go to a heavier weight and drop it and drop the reps back down. So that's one example. What you could do is just 10-15 minutes of heavy Turkish get-ups. Sometimes I will incorporate loaded carries into this, but sometimes I incorporate loaded carries into the power or core finisher. So that's the third phase, power stroke core. You're looking at using mostly dynamic, explosive movements. So we've worked on mobility, we worked on strength. So let's work on some explosive movement. Power is weight plus strength. Simple as that. It's how fast you can move the weight, speed of muscle contraction. So as I say, these can be power, or they can be core, or they can be a combination of both. Sometimes, personally, just as a side note, I won't use kettlebells in this one. I might use bands, for example, or I might use steel mace or TRX or something else, or a combination of things. But the example I'm giving you here is jump squats. So you've done your 5x5, your strength phase, you have a 2-minute active recovery, give your muscles a chance to replenish that ATP, and then you do your power circuit, which in this case is jump squats times 8 with a farmer's carry. So you've got a kettlebell in each hand of a moderate to heavy weight. You do your 8 jump squats, and then you pick the kettlebells up and you do a farmer's carry. Walk as far as you can, whether it's walking in a circle or you've got a track to walk along, and then you come back and then you do it again, and you repeat that 3 times, or you can repeat it 4 times or 5 times or whatever. So that's an example. You could just do, say, 5 lots of 20 kettlebell swings. You could do another little mini circuit here. You could do 5 minutes of clean and press, or 5 minutes of snatches, or both. You know, whatever you want to work on, and you feel that you need to develop more of, do more of that. It's simple. Breaking it down, nice and simple. The first part is your mobility circuit or mobility complex, light to moderate weight, 5 to 10 minutes. Then your strength phase, heavy weights, 15 to 30 minutes. And then your power or core finisher, moderate to heavy weights, 3 to 5 minutes, or longer if you want, it's up to you. So that means this whole session is a total of 23 to 45 minutes per session. So time efficient, and you're getting a hell of a lot of work done in that time. And yes, believe it or not, you can build muscle with kettlebells if you're putting this kind of volume in on a daily basis. So what I would do is a routine like this 3 times a week. I'll do 2 lighter sessions on the days in between, which might not incorporate kettlebells. It might be some body weight stuff. I might work on mobility and or core, or I might just do arms or something like that. Okay, if you've got any questions, put them in the box. I'm always happy to answer. Give this video a like, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.